What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am a finance professor. You guys may or may not know this, but I want to make sure you know where this is coming from. I want to do a quick video that won't take much of your time, but I believe it can change your life. I'm going to tell you, on behalf of the Black Business School, 6 things that rich people don't typically do. These are rules that I want you to apply in your household. These are rules that I want you to keep as your rules of wealth. These are rules I want you to write down and take home. Some of you may be watching this video live, but I won't have a chance to take any questions because I'm actually doing something that's more important than money, which is spending time with my family. So I promised my fiance, Dr. Alicia, who's a PhD in social work, I promised her that I would hurry up and get this done, but I had to get this out and I wanted to share this. So here are 6 things that rich people don't usually do. And I'm not talking about just people who were born into money. I'm talking about people who either obtain wealth or keep their wealth, or both. Number one, first thing rich people don't typically do, truly wealthy people don't typically flaunt their wealth. Flaunting is something you do when you are faking it till you make it, or when you are what I call financially immature. Those who are economically immature are looking for self-esteem. They're looking for validation. They're looking for someone to tell them that they are worthy. And the best way for me to show you that I'm worthy is for me to show you fancy clothes, fancy car, a big house, nice whatever, right? Now, this does not mean that rich people don't buy nice houses and that they don't buy nice cars, but that sort of gaudy flaunting, like I'm showing you how much money I have, or I'm wearing the biggest diamonds and stuff like that. Basically what rappers do, that's the quickest way to know that they either don't have money, or they won't have their money very long, or they're very, very bad at managing their money. The second thing that rich people tend to do that's really important is a lot of poor people tend to work for their money, but rich people don't usually work for their money anymore. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm saying this is America. This is America. Don't catch you slipping, right? So basically, in America, people that tend to have the most money are actually the ones who work the least for their money. This is what they call passive income. Passive income is when your money works for you. Active income is when you have to hustle for your dollar bills. But passive income means your money's working for you. You're not hustling anymore. Your dollar bills are hustling. They're hustling in real estate. Your dollar bills are hustling in your small business. Your dollar bills are hustling in the stock market. And you're making the bulk of your money without actually going to work, which leads to point 3. The third thing wealthy people tend to do, or those who accumulate wealth, is they tend to be investors. They tend to put their money into things that are going to grow in value. People who don't understand money, they put money into things that go down in value. They buy lots of cars and clothes and go out to eat and go to concerts and go to the club and buy the expensive bottles of Ciroc so they can look fancy to their friends. And then they run out of money. Then they have to go back and hustle to get more money to recover the money that they just gave away. Well, wealthy people on average tend to just be investors. They tend to say, okay, I've got $50,000. How do I turn this 50 into 100? Or I've got $2,000. How do I turn this 2 into 4? I've got $100. How do I turn this $100 into $200? They tend to always be thinking like investors. They tend to sacrifice the present so they can have more in the future. That's what they tend to do, which leads me to number 4. Number 4 is that wealthy people tend to have what I call financial consciousness. Now, my PhD, when I got my doctorate, my specialty was investor psychology. Investor psychology focuses on how money shapes your mind. Now, did I get my most valuable lessons from investor psychology from a science lab or from research papers or from a university? No. I got my best lessons on investor psychology from my grandmother, Felicia. My grandmother, Felicia, did not finish college. She got a 2-year associate's degree. She never made more than $22,000 a year. She raised 5 kids all by herself, and she never, ever had a financial problem. She never made more than $22,000 a year, but I would see people who made $80,000 a year borrowing money from my grandmother. So I learned a lot from my grandmothers, that what you call that black mama wisdom, where I would ask her, what are your financial philosophies? And she had a list. She gave me a list of rules. The same way Biggie had the 10 crack commandments, my grandmother had her 10 financial commandments, and she laid it down and wrote it down for me. And that actually shaped a lot of my thinking, because I was fascinated more with my grandmother than I was with anything I'd ever read in a book, because my grandmother showed me that mindset is everything. My grandmother, who went through probably 10 times worse discrimination than any of you can ever imagine. My grandmother, who grew up at a time during Jim Crow and segregation and no opportunities, not just for being black, but she was also a woman. My gosh, you're a black woman, a single black mother, and you have more money than most people. Your car's paid off, house is paid off, perfect credit score. In fact, her arrangements were so perfect when we buried her that we knew exactly what she wanted, all the way down to the color of the dress that she wanted to be buried in. She wanted to be buried in a cardinal red dress because her favorite basketball team was the Louisville Cardinals. The number five thing that rich people tend to do is they tend to read a lot. They tend to take in information. You live in a competitive society where people who have information and innovation are the ones who tend to have acceleration. They're the ones who tend to succeed. If you want to pick a marital partner, pick somebody who reads a lot. Pick somebody who takes in information, who processes that information, who seeks to apply that information. People who have more information tend to win. We live in an information-based society where information rules the day. So wealthy people, or those who accumulate wealth, tend to read more because they're learning more ways to accumulate wealth. They're learning more ways to flip 100 into 1,000, 1,000 into 10,000. They're learning things that you don't learn if you spend all your time just watching football all day, or just sitting around with your friends on the phone gossiping, or just wasting time doing nothing. Number 6. Rich people, on average, the ones I know who become wealthy, they tend to be efficient with their time. They don't usually waste their time. They invest their time. If you ask a person who's building wealth, well, what are you doing today? What are you up to today? Usually they're not going to say nothing. They're not going to say, oh, nothing, chilling, just sitting around. They don't do that. Typically, they're telling you what they just finished doing, what they're doing right now, and what they're about to do. And time is money. That's what they learn. They learn that time is money. Time is the most valuable resource that you have. And wealthy people don't tend to waste a lot of time. That's why when you talk to really successful, very wealthy people, I bet if you call Barack Obama on the phone right now, he would probably not have time to have a long conversation. The last piece, this is number 7. This is the bonus point. I know I was going to give you number 6 of these items, but I'm going to give you 7. 7 is wealthy people tend to be fighters. They don't tend to let fear dominate their decision making. Why do I make that point? I make that point in terms of investor psychology because investment deals with something called risk. Risk means that things might work out, things might not work out. You can go up, you can go down. You might go to heaven, you might go to hell. So a risk taker who lives on fear and on passion and who fights is a person who's going to see heaven. A person who operates just in a sphere of fear, they tend to think about all the things that can go wrong. They think about hell. They're looking down, as the person who is ascending is usually looking up. People tend to look in the direction that they're usually going to head. So if you focus on going down, if you're constantly looking downward, if you're constantly thinking about the negative, then you're probably going to end up in a negative space. That's why you must manage your thoughts so that you can end up where you want to be, to almost to the point of brainwashing yourself and reminding yourself of how great you are, how capable you are, how much you can accomplish if you put your mind to it, how wealthy you're going to be, how successful you're going to be, how free you're going to be. If you do that, then guess what? You're going to start to become wealthy and powerful and free and successful. But if you are obsessing on the opposite, then you're going to get the opposite. So understand this. This is almost a metaphysical concept, and most wealthy people, many wealthy people, actually dig into metaphysics. So they dig into the subconscious mind because they understand that your mind pretty much for the most part manifests a big chunk of your reality. So always be mindful of what is being put in your mind, and be mindful of what you obsess on in your mind, because that will shape much of your outcomes. I guarantee you that much. So that's it. Some of you asked about this shirt. This is from blackenough.com. Blackenough.com is our social media platform we created for black people. This is our word. We created this word. So if you are black enough, then please join us at blackenough.com. Someone said, where can I get this shirt? You can actually go to wokeblacktees.com, WOKE. That's wokeblacktees.com. So feel free to go check that out. And also, make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channel. Follow on Instagram. Go to YouTube, theblackfinancialchannel.com. We got lots of good stuff there. We can get you started on all the things that you need to know in the financial world. So take care, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I hope this video helps you out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Peace.